What's up guys, welcome. Today I'm going to be replacing this old thermostat with this shiny, slick new one. It's got a touch screen, Wi-Fi, all that good stuff. So let's get right into it. So this is a pretty simple job. If your house was built in the last 30 years, you're going to have a thermostat that looks something like this, and it's going to be running on a 24 volt system. But first I'm going to show you how to verify that it is in fact a 24 volt system, so you can go down to your favorite hardware store and pick up a new one confidently and make sure you're getting the right one. So pop off this faceplate right here. Usually you just literally pop it right off. And what you need is a multimeter like this, and you're going to set it to the one with the V with the wavy current over there. That stands for alternating current, and you're going to go to 200. Mine only has 200. If you have a lower setting, you can use that, but 200 will work for me. So you'll take your black probe and you'll stick it on your G wire, not necessarily the green one, but the one that's labeled G right here on the circuit board. And then you'll take your red probe and you'll stick it on this red terminal, the R terminal. Right? And you'll see on the multimeter that we're reading 27 volts. That's right around 24 volts, so that means that this is a 24 volt system. It's just a little bit high, but that's normal. All right, so the next step is going to be to go out into the garage or wherever your breaker panel is and find your breaker that's labeled HVAC, air conditioning, or heating. It might be labeled any one of those things and flip it off. Now, we're not just going to trust that. We're going to go back inside of the house and we're going to use that multimeter to check and make sure that there's no longer any voltage right here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so again, we'll check the green wire and the red wire. And it appears we still have 27 volts. So that's why we don't just trust it. So let's go back out into the garage and let's find the right breaker. And what do you know? There's another one right here labeled furnace. And nothing. Let's go ahead and check all these. Perfect. Now the other thing to take note of right here is there's a jumper wire that goes between RH and RC. And that's going to matter when you're wiring up the new one. So just take note of that. Alrighty folks, so here's the deal. Most of these new thermostats do not come with batteries or do not need batteries to operate. What they need instead is a 24 volt common wire that comes from, it's called a common wire, or it's also referred to as the C wire. But it's a constant 24 volt power source that comes from the furnace. And you need that. So you may look in here and you'll see that there is no C wire. All we have is a G, Y, W, and an RH, as well as this jumper between RH and RC. So not to worry, there's a fix to that. So next thing you're going to want to do is start removing your old thermostat. Pull these screws out here. Got those out, and this thing should be dangling. Leave your wires connected, but reach your hand around back of the thermostat here and grab a hold of these wires and carefully pull them out of the wall. If your house was built in the last 30 years like mine was, you'll most likely have a little bundle of wires like this in your wall, and what you're going to need is the blue one. And go ahead and use blue because that's what's used in the industry, so it'll just keep everything standardized. So blue is the wire we're going to need. All right, let's recap. So at this point, we got our faceplate pulled off our thermostat. We verified that it is in fact a 24 volt system. We took a photo of the wires so that we can keep track of how this thing is wired up. We pulled the thermostat off the wall and we unraveled the blue wire out of our wire loom. If you don't have a blue wire or an extra wire in your wire loom like this, there are other products, and there's also other thermostats that are sold with devices that take the place of that 24 volt common signal. So you're just gonna have to do a little bit of research and look into that and find out what your options are. Or you can call a contractor and have them come out and run you a new wire, but obviously that's gonna be the most expensive way to do that. So at this point, you can go ahead and disconnect your thermostat. You can take all the wires out of your thermostat if you want to. You already have the picture taken of it, or you should at this point already have a picture taken of it or have your wires labeled. So you can go ahead and remove them at this point. I'm just going to leave it because there's no need to remove them just yet. But what I am going to do is go ahead and strip this blue wire right here because we're going to need some of the wire exposed. So I don't have any strippers on me right now. I'm just going to go ahead and use my teeth. Just kidding. I'm going to use my strippers. That's about a ½ an inch, maybe a third of an inch. So that'll do just fine. All right, guys, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our strippers and our screwdriver out to the furnace. Okay, guys, with the breaker off and we verified that the power is in fact shut off at the thermostat, there's no way for power to be on over here because this is what gives the thermostat power. So we should be safe to mess around with this a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this cover off right here. And if you have a thermostat that looks like this, your cover will be probably right there. But whatever panel houses your wiring. So you're gonna pull this loom right here that has all these wires wrapped around it. And again, you're gonna unravel the blue one. And again, get your blue one unraveled. Strip about 1/3 to 1/2 of an inch off of the end of it. Okay, we've got our blue wire unraveled and we stripped about 1/3 to 1/2 of an inch off of it. And we'll go in to the terminals right here where all these wires run to, and we're going to screw this blue wire into the C terminal. You can see the C terminal right there on the far right. So we'll unscrew that screw right there and we'll poke the wire in behind that plate, and then we'll screw that Phillips head screw back down to secure the wire in there. So let's go ahead and do just that. So we'll poke that in there behind the plate, screw it down. Alrighty, and now we just ran a common wire for free. So let's head back into the house and do the rest of this. Alrighty folks, as I was installing that C wire, you'll see my mic stuck to the furnace. So I recorded the rest of this video without any audio. But never fear, we'll go ahead and voice over it. Now we're gonna start installing this thing. So go ahead and get your new thermostat unboxed. So like I said in the beginning, this is a Wi-Fi touchscreen fancy thermostat that you can control from anywhere. But go ahead and unbox the probably lame one that you got in comparison to the one that I have. So we'll continue taking all the goodies out of the box, which includes the touchscreen faceplate, as well as the wall plate, which is where the wires connect, and that's what holds the faceplate onto the wall. Next up, we'll take our user manual, and what you're going to want to do with it is go ahead and throw it away, because brother, we don't need that where we're going. Grab your wall plate and head on over to the thermostat. In my case, we'll take a narrow straight blade screwdriver and start unscrewing all those wires and get that old thermostat disconnected. Put the new thermostat on there, poke the wires through, then we can take our comically oversized level, get the thermostat straight, and mark out where we need to install our drywall anchors. Then we'll pull the thermostat out of the way, hammer in our drywall anchors, and get the thing mounted up. And finally, once both the screws are mostly tight, we'll level it one last time and cinch it down all the way. Now she's mounted, it's time to get the wiring done. So poke all the wires into their respective terminals. On this model, you literally just poke the wires in there. If you had a jumper wire on your old model, take note of the blue jumper wire connector right here that you're going to need to install on the new one. Now we'll pop the faceplate into position, and that's it. Alrighty folks, and that's it. New thermostat's installed, house has heat again, and you saved a little bit of money in the process. So all that's left to do now is go ahead and program your new thermostat if you got one that's programmable, and you should be good to go. Alright y'all, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.